It's been a while since we talked about the old Bison, and to be fair, last time I mostly just crapped on Jeremy the whole time, rightfully so.
Oh, that's a cute little ladder for your truck. Oh, cute little ladder.
Rightfully so. And I spent more time talking about why I purchased the Alu-Cab than the Alu-Cab itself and how I use it. But it's been several months, it's way more dialed now, and I want to show you my camp setup in the Alu-Cab. Let's go. I guess we can start with a couple of changes I made to the truck itself, which are actually pretty few and far between. So up front, I've added some ditch lights. These are from Diode Dynamics. I don't know who made the mounts, but they were a quick and easy bolt on, and this is like a 5-minute job minus the wiring. Up under here, I installed BantamX sPOD. This is the touchscreen version. And then this is just a fuse box for the back, or actually a breaker switch for the back, because all the power right now from the Alu-Cab is running to the main battery, which isn't going to be a long-term solution. That's just kind of how they come installed. But sPOD's the main thing that I've installed and updated under the hood. This right here is the sPOD touchscreen. I went with this. I actually ended up buying 2 sPODs on accident. I kept the touchscreen and sent the other one back because while I would rather have physical buttons, I really like that this one has your battery right here. So since I'm running everything off the battery rather than having a separate battery control or gauge, I can just look at this one. I've got temp and battery meter. But all I have wired up to this right now, I put those bumper lights on the back, which were just a straight wire in because there were some punch outs in the Bison bumper, and then these ditch lights. So that's it for now. I do have a ARB air compressor that I haven't wired up yet, but I just need to get the panel for it. But that's really the only changes I've made to the truck itself. The biggest upgrade that I've made to the Alu-Cab, which is a massive quality of life upgrade that I would recommend to anybody who gets one, is an 813 Fabrications deadbolt kit. So you may recall a reel or a short where I lockpicked the master lock I had on here. Getting into this with a padlock every single time was really, really annoying. So now I just have this little cotter pin, and if you take that off and the truck is locked, you can't get into the Alu-Cab. It is deadbolted from the inside, so I have to use my key fob to unlock the Alu-Cab. That is amazing. So it's right here. This is your deadbolt tied to the key. And then you have an override here for when you're inside, you can pull the door shut and manually override the deadbolt. That means you can lock yourself in. People can't get in when you're already in there. Nobody can mess with you when you're sleeping. Ricky and Brandon can't mess with you. It's nice. So that was probably the most recent upgrade, and the most recent would actually be the solar panel. I have a 200-watt solar panel up top, which is a flat stick-on style solar panel. And it's not running anything except for my power station. We're going to do that and everything that's in there in just a second. Let's do a timed setup. Just to clarify, this is the time to fully set up camp, have everything ready to go, not just pop the tent. We've established that the tent on this opens very, very quickly. You can set up for the tent and the awning in like 45 seconds, a minute or less. Like, it's great. Teardown's also quick, but I want to show when I get to camp what I have to do to get ready. Let's go. And time. So that's it. I don't know how long that took, but it feels very quick and very frictionless, and putting it up is just as easy, which is, I think, the best part. I have not been going camping nearly as much since having kids, and this year alone, I've probably been close to 30 nights this year, which is great. That's what that was the goal. That was why I got this thing and why I've been trying to go more. I missed it, and this has taken all of the friction out of camping. If I want to go rough it, I can go backpacking, but if I want to just go camping, I can just take this thing out, and that's super nice. Being able to just drive up and be set up in just a couple minutes is awesome. So I want to take you through some of the things that have made setups so easy, other than being able to just pop the tent up. First, this Alu-Cab table right here. And the benefit of this table is that on this model, the Canopy Camper, they make this little rail system right here where you can lock this table into place. It's using unused space or previously unused space, and it locks this table away. My favorite thing about this table is that it's on gas struts. So, and don't get me wrong, I'm fully aware this whole thing is a luxury, not just the Alu-Cab, but this table also. So you fold it up like that to put it away, but when you get it down, you can literally just shake it and the legs come out. The downside of this table is just how thin it is. It's very, very thin. So you're not gonna be doing anything heavy on this. So since this truck was my daily driver and still is my daily driver, I've kind of, by adding all this stuff onto the back of it, I've kind of made it less good of a daily driver. I don't know how, it's not as good as it used to be. So what I've tried to do, since I brought this down, I've tried to add things that help bring it back up. So I've like net zeroed. And this is one of those items, having a table at the ready at any moment, really, really quickly and easily accessible is awesome. I can reach up here, grab this table and have a table. So when I'm working on the truck or I'm working around the yard or anything, having a table like this that's not an annoying folding table is really, really nice and convenient. Again, I understand it's a luxury because this table is not cheap, but it's really awesome to have a table that quickly anywhere you go. Second table is this one right here. This is the tire table. I've had this thing for years and it just kind of fits right here beside my refrigerator, and it's easy to just grab here and put up very, very quickly. Not a very big table, but it's nice to just, if you're sitting around, you can put a drink on it. You can use it to just kind of get stuff up off the ground, which is what I like. And it's up under this covered area, so it's never really out in the weather or anything. So this is where I put things at night when I'm about to climb up in the tent and I think it might rain, put everything here. This table can get wet, do whatever, shake it off, you know, but this one is the up out of the weather table. This chair, I've not used this chair a whole lot, but I got this at Academy. We wanted something very small and lightweight, and that's another theme. I try to keep things very simple, compact in here. I don't want a bunch of stuff. I don't want really heavy things. I want to keep it simple. And this chair was like 12 or 15 bucks at Academy, and it folds up very, very easily, which is nice. I love the convenience factor, very small. No, it's not the most comfortable camp chair ever, but I can have 2 or 3 of these in the truck for other people, and it doesn't take up that much space. They just kind of stow away in unused areas of the truck, and very, very quick to set up and tear down. So I guess we should start, before we dive into all of this, with the door. These are the things I wanted to keep pretty accessible, both when camping and not camping. And I guess before I even go into that, I should talk about the table, because this is probably the thing I use the most. This is the GP Factor table that is made for the Alu-Cab Door. It folds up very easily. Latches into place when you need it. You just flip these 2 tabs, drops down, and this bamboo cutting board is obviously removable. This is mostly where I cook with my Primus stove. I actually bought this stove because I showed up to Georgia Bushcraft without any food or any way to cook because I didn't know what to expect. So Blue Ridge Overland Gear was there. They had a Primus stove, so I bought it because that was the only stove I had access to, unless I wanted to borrow somebody else's. So I was like, you know what? I like this thing a lot. One of the reasons I really like it is because while it's just like any of the camp stoves you normally use, you can pull these little brass tabs here, take the whole lid off, and then this becomes a hot plate surface, or not a hot plate, but like a trivet, basically. You can put hot pans and stuff on here and keep them off some other stuff. So it's really nice. It's your windscreen, but it's also a place to put hot pots. And then the speaker, I haven't actually used this thing camping, but I've used it around the house and some around the office. This is the Demerbox. It was sent to me by Huckberry, and it's effectively like a legitimate Pelican case that has speakers in it, and it's nearly indestructible. I've seen videos of people running over these. It's waterproof. There's a plug on the inside. If you open this up, it's got a plug that you can put on the outside and make this thing watertight. So you can take it on a boat, it floats. Like, this thing is really awesome. It sounds good. It has like 40 hours of playtime, I believe. And you can store stuff in here because it is a Pelican. Now, the more stuff you put in the back, the worse it's gonna sound. But this is a really, really nice way to get some tunes around the campsite and also store stuff and keep it watertight if you need to. I also have a second speaker, but I mostly use this one more as a lantern. This was Just it randomly arrived in my P.O. box one day, and it's actually a really cool product. It's a Mifa, I think they call it Wild Camping, but it is a USB-C chargeable lantern that has both white and warm white. And the speaker on it's not bad either. Lasts a long time. I've gone a full weekend blasting this thing with light and sound, and not too bad. So I just have it up here so I know where a lantern is really quickly, rather than having to dig through all this stuff. I always keep a titanium cup here. This is just the cup I take backpacking, and it just stays in the truck so I know where it is. But I always have a cup pretty easily accessible. And I have this one shoved in here because it was a gift from our buddies at Beard Brand, and I was like, you know what? It's a good whiskey cup for camping. So, I mean, you could just, it doesn't matter. But I got one in the mail, so I'm gonna just keep it right there. And since we're talking about that, this is a collaboration between Blue Ridge Overland Gear and LT Wright. So it comes with a wooden cutting board on the outside. You've got MOLLE panel. This whole outside, the case was made by Blue Ridge Overland Gear for LT Wright, but this is their Cookcraft knife set. So if we unzip this, we have a bag with hook and loop on the inside. It comes with one of these pouches that you can put spices and other things in. I obviously haven't migrated over because I've only had this thing for a little bit. I have my old camp kitchen knife in here, which is from Primitive Woodsman. It's called the Fireside, I believe. But now I have this nice Camp Chef collection from LT Wright. I love using this knife for food prep. This really elevates like any kind of food prep out in the woods. So these go right back into this little Kydex. And I believe these are AEBL steel. Yeah, I thought so. So this thing is actually woven into this MOLLE panel. I would not want to have to take this whole bag off because it took a while to get it into that MOLLE. But what you can do is snap. It's got snaps on the back of this. So you can take this whole thing and throw it in your drawer inside, and you can use this in your kitchen at home. And then when you're going camping, throw it in this little pouch, which is really convenient, which I need to remember to do that so I can flitz the big chef knife. And then my truck knife, as it were, lives right here. So if you guys are not familiar, this right here is from Schwartz Knives, TJ Schwartz. You may know for the Overland. This is his new knife. It's called the Lost Trail 5. It's a 5-inch blade, fixed blade, made in America. You have a rich light handle. These are OD Cerakoted, and they are $195. That is wild. A2 tool steel on this right here. So I like having this because I'd normally have a fixed blade, but if I need something a little beefier, if I'm going to be processing wood for a fire, or batoning, anything big task, I can grab this. I know where it sits, always lives right here inside the door. So Lost Trail 5 is the truck knife of choice. All right, so this is my entire camp kitchen other than the LT Wright knives and the stove. I like having it compact in one little tote like this, and I really like these Magellan totes because you can take the tabs off on all 4 sides and take the lid off, which is super convenient. And you do have storage inside here. This is the entire camp collection or camp kitchen. This is just some stainless frying pan that I got from REI one day. This is what I've mostly been using to cook with last few trips out. This is the complEAT from Gerber, which is honestly a really neat set and quite complete. So they spell it COMPLEAT. So this is a giant nesting mess kit. You can see all the pieces right there on the bottom, which that's helpful because it tells you how they go back in, because it's not immediately apparent. So you have 2 lids, one for your saute pan, one for your pot. You have a clip, which is or a handle that clips into your saute pan. If we can get it to clip, there we go. You've got a trivet, we can place that on it. And then you have a full set of bowls, a salad bowl, plates, and then your main pot. So you make a stew in here or something like that if you want, but you have utensils, not utensils, you have plates and bowls for 4, which is enough for my family. Or if I'm taking Ricky out and treating him to a nice campfire dinner, you know. But yeah, I really like it a lot. They also sent this right here, which is their griddle. It's actually really nice. Works the exact same way. This handle works in there as well. I've got another handle in here, but I really like this, or at least I wanted to, but it's carbon steel, which I like carbon steel. The problem is I didn't know it was carbon steel at the beginning, and I don't know if it's coated or what, but we seared some burgers on this and absolutely ruined the finish on it. It's really rough. I've taken everything to this but an angle grinder, and I think the only way I can like salvage this thing is maybe to sandblast it or something. I don't know. I like the idea of it, but I kind of ruined it the first time I used it. It's not ruined, but it's definitely not nonstick now. It's the opposite of nonstick. So this, I've just got some spices and stuff in. I almost always have some sort of meat church spices with me. Holy Voodoo, the fajita stuff. Little scrub brush that has been leaking apparently, and some salt, soap, and another scrub sponge. These can be moved over to that LT Wright thing, which I'm going to do later. But this whole tray comes out. In here, we have some utensils, just some cheap plastic spatulas or rubber spatulas that I've had for a long time that have always been in my camp setup. But I got this in this week, or last week, I don't know. This is from Brautigam Expedition Works. He has titanium tongs and a titanium spatula. Is that necessary? No, but lightweight, small, and probably will outlive me. That's all the utensils. We have a couple of cans of isobutane because I also have backpacking stoves out the nose, and that's how I make my coffee in the morning. That's in another little setup. We have rags just for doing dishes and stuff, and a collapsible sink for washing the dishes once you're done cooking. Then finally, in the very bottom of here, is the other Gerber complEAT. So this is another cutting board. Another cutting board. That's just how this thing comes. I have all the utensils and stuff, the sporks and the outlery and the outdoor elements mess kit with spoon, chopsticks, straw, toothbrush. That all stays in this. And then we have 2 more knives. This is just how this kit came. Gerber sent this to me and I was using it, trying it out. We have a little utility knife and then a larger chef knife, and both of them fit into these slots perfectly, which is really cool. But also, like, if you have a really nice setup like this with the LT Wright, it kind of defeats the purpose of having this one, other than like spare cutting boards or a way to hold your utensils. So if you want to go all in on this kit, it's actually really nice having everything all in one. But if you've already got like a really nice knife set, maybe go with just a way to hold these. You know, maybe these can go in the lid of this thing and I can get rid of this whole thing now that I've got the LT Wright. But I don't know, I think it's a really cool set. It's just now having a nicer set, it may not work for me as well as it would have. And the part that kind of annoys me the most, I've gone through like 30 different ways of trying to set up this box down here, and the only way it all works is if this is at the bottom, which is very annoying because all of the utensils are at the very bottom. And if that's the only thing I need out of the bottom, I have to take everything out. So maybe it's a shortcoming of this bin, or I don't know. It's just not working as well as, say, the other part of the complEAT with the pots and the nesting pots. So anyway, that's camp cooking. The other 2 items that I guess are like food related, not necessarily cooking, but food related. So first up, we have this right here, the Blue Ridge Overland Gear Speakeasy bourbon bag. And you have 4 slots inside here to hold whiskey, and it's padded and keeps your whiskey bottles nice and neat. Obviously, if you drink wine, you can use it for wine, you can use it for vodka, or whatever else you want. What I typically do is 3 bottles of whiskey, and then I put pipe tobacco down in this one. So it's really nice. I like it a lot. Just kind of tucks away in there and keeps my whiskey from getting beat up and broken and shattering and all that other sad stuff. This is a Step 22 Stingray flat box. Sent a long time ago. I never really had a good use for it, other than I used it for clothes a few times, but I think it works way better for snacks and stuff. So I have, this is my coffee setup. I have my AeroPress down in here, the AeroPress Go, with the Porlex grinder. So coffee is all right here. I have a bag of coffee, 2 bags of coffee actually. And then this is the stove, really just the pot and the MSR stove that I use to heat up the water. Another Yeti. But I keep all the kinds of like protein snacks and big bars and stuff down in here. Those just stay in the truck all the time. Pistachios because nuts while at camp. I love nuts at camp, you know what I mean? And then just some emergency freeze-dried meals just in case. Mountain House, nothing special. They've just probably had them in my camp kit for a very long time because I don't eat them very often. But that is just food. Dry food stays in this. So I talked about in the last Alu-Cab video that we have a switch panel here. This just came with it. And I thought about doing a solar charge controller up here and a secondary battery. And I have the charge controller. I haven't bought a battery, but I started thinking about it and I was like, why go through all that when I already have this? This is the Bluetti AC 120 that I did a video on last year. The 120, 180, I don't know, 180. So I thought, like, why go through the trouble of getting a secondary battery set up when I've already got this Bluetti? So what I did is I took another one of these Anderson connectors. If I disconnect this, it disconnects power from the truck. And I plugged in another one and ran it to the 12-volt socket on the Bluetti. And now I'm running solar to the Bluetti. So I could run this whole Alu-Cab off the Bluetti, but the problem was I was doing that at Georgia Bushcraft and I plugged in the refrigerator and a fan, and I turned on the lights, I think. And I think the inline fuse blew because everything went black. And when I switched back over to the truck, came back on. So it was either a really bad plug, a short, or I blew a fuse. The plan is to just run it off this Bluetti. I need a better long-term solution for where to put it, but I don't think I need to go any more in depth than this right now. I can always upgrade to a secondary battery, but for now, I think this is the best solution. And then I have another Jackery. The reason I have this is because in case I run out of power on the Bluetti, I have two batteries. I will never run out of both. Just in my experience so far, I can't imagine where I would not have enough sun to power at least charge one of these enough to keep the refrigerator running, and that's the most important thing. And speaking of refrigerator, I have this Camco. I didn't buy it for any other reason than it went on sale on Amazon and it was like $250. So $250 refrigerator that stays in the truck 24/7, not a bad deal. I've got some Monsters and Coors Banquets in here. The Coors are courtesy of Brandon. Thanks, buddy. Yeah, that just stays in here all the time. It's actually, again, really convenient to have a refrigerator all the time because when I go to the grocery store, if I need to get stuff, say refrigerated goods, I can put them in here and then I don't have to go straight home or straight to another refrigerator. I have the refrigerator here. The only downside is if I get so many groceries, I fill up the refrigerator. But it's just a nice little stopgap in case I need to go to the grocery store, get goods, put them in here, and then go somewhere else before I go home. So you guys probably remember my old setup was with Milwaukee packouts, and this is the last remaining piece of a packout. I got rid of everything else in here for a very specific reason that I'll tell you in a minute, but I still have this one because I really just like the organization. This is a bunch of odds and ends. You probably smell the alcohol when I open this up. The alcohol wipes there, they're probably dried out now, but I always replenish them before I go out because it's really nice having alcohol wipes. I got some space blankets. You need some bug spray? We got some fix sticks. We just have a bunch of random stuff in here. Sharpies, I'm always looking for them. Lighters, fire starters, paracord, just odds and ends. I also keep a few trash bags in here, full-sized. This is just a glow card. I don't know why it's sitting there. A bunch of carabiners. I always end up needing more carabiners, so I have carabiners and bungees and different ways to tie stuff down. But that's all that stays in here. This is just a way to keep all the little odds and ends organized. And then I have some other ones that are from a friend of mine, J. Barry Miller of Tough Possum Gear. So you may see there's two of them here. And then I have behind my hats, which I always keep a selection of hats in the truck because, you know, I get one nasty and I'll just swap it out or whatever. I always have hats in here. And then on this side, this is the one I have like set up probably the most. I have a Big Idea Design bit bar inline, just a little pry bar, some Klein scissors, my truck flashlight, which is the one from that REI video, which I told you would probably live in my truck. Now it lives in my truck. We also have a Wright in the Rain notebook, some Knipex, and then here, oh, look at that. Here's your reminder. Use your shit and sharpen your knives. Thank you to Workshop for being a channel sponsor. This stays in here because, as I said, I've always got one of these in the truck. one in my bag. I got them everywhere. I keep that in here. And the last thing in the back is a headlamp. So these are actually the exact same thing that Tough Possum sells as a, it's for their satchel, which is the Shackleton bag. This is an organizer that he made for that. And normally it has hook and loop on the back, but he made these that don't have hook and loop. They have these little loops on the top with these grim clips. I think that's what they're called. He made them so I could stick them to these molly panels because I bought these at Georgia Bushcraft and was sticking them here. And he's like, hey, that's really cool. And then he ended up making me 2 of those, which I only have 1 of them set up. And then I have these for other things that I want to be able to access quickly. So I have all sorts of charging cables for phones and flashlights and anything else I can imagine. I just have that there. And then this one is a fishing kit. So we have this Go Reel from Crystal Creek. We sell these on Carry Commission, and this is just a little lightweight hand reel fishing kit. And I have this whole kit right here. And what I like about having it here is with these little clips, I can take this whole thing off and go fishing. I can actually clip these to my belt loops and have this on my belt. It looks silly, but it works really well. And it's really nice to be able to just grab and go fishing whenever. So this stays right here in the truck. So I got the Alu-Cab water tank, which we'll go over just a little bit more in a second. Probably one of the most important upgrades to the Alu-Cab. But I found this on Facebook Marketplace for a fraction of the price, which is bizarre to me because I don't know, like there's not many people that have Alu-Cabs around here. But this water tank bag is really handy. So I use this to just keep some stuff organized. So I have dude wipes in here, sunscreen, which I obviously need, more wipes, toilet paper, smaller trash bags, and deodorant spray in case I need to not smell so bad. This one, I know I have my water bottle in and a water filter. Not that I think I'm going to run out of water, but if I come up on a stream, if you've never drank water from a river through one of these filters, it's a life-changing experience. Fresh water out in the wilderness tastes so much better, and doing it through one of these filters keeps you from getting terrible things like Giardia, but I always keep one of these in my truck because in the event I'm out camping and I don't have water, I can always get water, but you know, it's just nice to be able to grab water out of a river and drink it. It's amazing. And then I have a water bottle that stays in here. So I don't really keep anything in these yet, but in this one, I keep 2 rain jackets, one for me and in case Alex is with me or something, and a beanie. So up here, I just keep a couple of things. I have a Woobie just in case I need a spare blanket or something, or you know, Ricky forgets his, he can take this one. And then I have 2 of these. These are Tough Possum Gear sit pads. Jayberry has, I think, changed the name, but they have 1,000,001 uses. You can use them to sit on. You can use them in the back of your backpack for padding. You can use them as an indicator if you're out hunting or during hunting season. You can, you know, use a bright color like this. You can stuff stuff down in here. I mean, there's a million things you can do with these. So I keep 2 of them here. They're really nice to have. I normally would take that backpacking more than anything, but I just keep them in the truck. I also use them when I'm working on the truck. If I need to get under, I use it as a knee pad so I don't destroy my knees on concrete. And then we have this right here. This is the large organizer from Vertix. I put my iPad in here when I'm camping so I know where it is. It just stays up in there. And then if you look on this side, since all this is carpet, I use hook and loop on this. Obviously, I keep my mechanics gloves right here all the time. And then I have a quick grab and go first aid kit. That is the med pouch from Tough Possum that I've just pieced together a whole bunch of stuff in there, like tourniquets and stuff. I have 3 of these, which don't have a lot in them. I think I got another headlamp there. And then this is like straps for my hammock. And then this is just another one that I put in here. I don't think I have, oh, I have a knife in there. TKL knife. It's just kind of chilling in there for no reason. But the idea is to kind of get all this stuff zeroed in a little bit more as I go. And now if I jump up top, this is where I sleep in the bed or the tent portion of the Alu-Cab. And this is where another one of the most important upgrades for the Alu-Cab, or really any like truck camping setup, and that's this right here. This is a Hest mattress. They sent me this, and this is one of the most comfortable sleeps I've ever had in my life. They have a Memorial Day sale going on right now, and I do have a coupon code if you want to check it out. That is a Hest pillow. It is really, really comfortable. And then this mattress right here, it has a sheet on it as well, so the actual mattress looks a little bit different. That is HEST. This right here, I kid you not, I sleep better on this than I do my own bed at home. I know that's probably unbelievable. It sounds probably a little bit crazy, but I legitimately sleep better in this Alu-Cab than I do my bed at home, and it's all because of this Hest mattress and this Hest pillow. We've got just a couple of other things here. We have a blanket, which is a rumple blanket, little down blanket, and my sleeping bag. I haven't been up in here in like a month, so it's probably way too warm for this, and probably also that. So I'll be downgrading to something much cooler or made for much warmer weather. This is the brunt of all the rest. This is basically everything except for one more stove I'll show you. If we take the lid off this thing, it's got like 6 or 8 clips around here. Obviously I have more knives because I've always got more knives and lighters and pocket bellows, but I keep a travel cigar, a little humidor in here. It's got a boba to pack. Keep some cigars in the truck all the time. Thank you for the habit, Jeremy. Appreciate you. I've got a Vanquist first aid kit, and I've pieced this together from several different first aid kits, everything that's inside here. I've got a lot of stuff. So there's an Uncharted supply kit in here. I've got stuff in every single one of these pouches. Maybe we can do a truck first aid at some point, but I'm not going to go through all that right now. I also have tourniquet attached to the side of it. That's still relatively easy to get to, even though it's inside this bin. Then I have the Blue Ridge Overland Gear tool roll kit. Sure. And inside here, I have a bunch of tools, all sorts of pliers and screwdrivers, and it's a whole wrench set, whole socket set, more zip ties, tire pressure gauge, all sorts of stuff. This thing weighs probably 30 or 40 pounds. But what I like about this tool roll is when you're rolling it up, I've had a few different tool rolls that I didn't love. What I like about this one is you can kind of roll it up loose, tighten these down, and you can just keep snugging it a little bit more and a little bit more really easily. So you can make it really compact for how heavy and complete this thing is. So it drops back down in there, and this fits perfectly on top. On this side, I've got some spare butane because I always run out of butane when I'm camping. A little USB fan. These things are freaking great if you have a mosquito or bug problem around your campsite. They're just little incense sticks that are citronella. Stick it in the ground, light it, and they work pretty damn well. I've got another camp chair, a little table for all these little short camp chairs. This table, you just set it out and it's kind of low to the ground, but you can put your drink or whatever on it. And then this bag right here is all sorts of power cables and stuff that I need for like the battery. If I got AC power, I can plug that in. I've got the AC charger or power adapter for the refrigerator. Big charging cables stay in this little tough possum pouch. We've got camp pillow, a tarp, some T-Rex tape, zip ties, stool, but these are the things that I really like down in here. So I got some redundancy here. I understand that, but oh well. We'll start with this right here. If you are not familiar with silky saws, you should familiarize yourself. This is the best damn saw that you can put in the back of your truck without doing some sort of like chainsaw deal. These things just eat wood. They eat logs. They work really, really well. So if you're trying to, if you got a down tree and you want some firewood, you can chop it up real fast with this versus trying to swing an axe for a long time. Just saw it up real fast. These are like 80 bucks and they are worth their weight in gold. Now, this was sent to me by Tops Knives. It was supposed to be mounted to the mini truck, but I never got around to it because it came around the time that I broke the mini truck. But this is the Machete 230 from Joe Flowers. So really cool machete. Put your hand through here and just chop away. It's a beefy machete. I've actually probably only used it one time, but it's cool to have. They also sent this axe, which, what is the name of this? High impact axe or whatever. This thing, yeah, high impact, made in Idaho. This thing is a damn tank, full tang. I mean, it's heavy. I don't know how heavy, but it is a beast. This feels more like a war axe than something you're gonna use around the campsite, but it's just cool to swing and chop stuff up with. But can't say I've used this one all that much just because I don't really know its real practical purpose of the campsite versus this one that I have. This one I bought at Georgia Bushcraft from Smoky Mountain Knife Works. This is a Holtzbrook and just a little hatchet. I got this and a longer handled one. Just a nice little camp hatchet that I like quite a bit. Just really good for processing firewood and stuff. Typical hatchet stuff, I don't know. But this right here, this is the star of the show. So this is a titanium pack shovel from Brautigam Expedition Works, the same guy who made the spatula and the tongs from the camp kitchen set. And it is obviously a shovel, but it's sharpened on this side. And it's meant for light chopping. You can use it to limb trees. You can use this thing for a whole lot. And it's all welded titanium. It's one solid piece. There's no moving parts. It's basically impossible to break it. Let's chop some stuff real quick. This little sapling right here. This thing is awesome. All right, so I talked about the water tank that comes, well, doesn't come with, I added to the Alu-Cab. It's made for it, it's 13 gallons, and we ran it to a tap right here. So if you want water at any point, you just come here, turn this, and you've got gravity flowing water. There's no pump, there's nothing to go wrong with it really, other than maybe a fitting coming loose or something. But this right here is another one of those like quality of life things. Not even just for camping, but day to day. It's really nice to be like out with the kids and then be like, I need some water, I want water. I can literally just stop the truck, fill up their water bottle, and keep going. It's so nice. And even at the old office, we used to use this for water instead of the water inside because it wasn't filtered. And it was just nice to come out and get water out of the truck. So always having water on hand is a convenience that I didn't know I needed, but I'm really glad I have now. So 13-gallon water tank, absolute must in the Alu-Cab. And this spigot is awesome. This is a bry. I don't know how to explain a bry other than to show you and to tell you that it's like a, I believe, South African bush stove. So it's a wood burning stove. Got our cook grate here, and you just grab these handles right here, pick up, and you just give it a shake. This goes up. This goes here. I have it the wrong way, it's backwards for you. We'll turn it down so you can see it. And then you can put your cook grate in. And you've got 3 levels of cooking. So ideally what you would do here is you build a stick fire in the bottom, get an even bed of coals where you can have a cold side and a warm side. And then you have this grate. You've got these little, I don't know what you'd call them, handles. You can take that grate and lower it. If you need to increase your temperature, you can lower it one more time and you can cook on this. How was this for cooking steaks and stuff when we went to Georgia? It's awesome. It's a little bit finicky because you've got to build your bed of coals, which is going to take a while. So it's not as fast as a propane stove, but if it's cold outside, this is both your fire pit and your stove, which is really nice. I like this thing a lot. And it packs away really compact, although it is pretty heavy. It's probably like 30 pounds. 25, somewhere in there. Also, make sure you lock these out because it's never fun when you have fire in here and the leg collapses. Ask me how I know. I do have one last thing because this does stay in the back of the truck. And you can say God all you want, Ricky, but slingshots. So this is my little slingshot bucket bag. Got a whole bunch of ammo down in there. And a slingshot. All right, go over there, Ricky. I'm gonna shoot you. I would never shoot you, Ricky. I wouldn't shoot you. But I'll shoot that bottle.
Such good.
Yeah. Thank you. So that's it. That's the whole camp setup. It seems like a whole lot, and there's definitely some like condensing I can do. But I really want to kind of build this thing out slowly, which is why I went away from the pack outs and went to this little Magellan tote, because they were just taking up too much space. They were heavy and inconvenient, and now everything in here is pretty frictionless. Like I don't have to take all this stuff out to get to it, to use it. I can take the top off of that Magellan and get to everything while it's still in here. And it's just, this is pretty dialed for me. It's not the final form of this thing, but I'm very, very happy with it. I'm probably going to put a pause on upgrading stuff in the Alu-Cab so I can get the truck up to speed with some bigger tires and a slight lift and add a leaf in the back to compensate for all the weight back here now. So it's time to focus on the truck, but the camp setup is perfect now. It's so nice. Like, this thing is frictionless, and that was the whole plan, not making it the coolest or the biggest or the baddest, but to be totally frictionless, and I can get to camp, set up, have fun, tear down, go home. And there's no like, oh man, I've got to do that. There's none of that with this setup. It's easy. Every single part of it is just simple. The worst part of any of this is having to clean up after cooking, and that's true anywhere you go. So I think that's pretty good in my opinion. Let me know what you guys think, what you want to see next, and what you'd like to see with the Alu-Cab. Like something you'd like to see me do. I don't know, storm chasing in an Alu-Cab? Yeah, bloody. Here we come, Reed Timmer. We're coming for you. All right, that's it. Thank you guys for watching. Everything, roughly everything, will be linked in the description down below. Good luck, Ricky. I'll see you guys in the next video. And until then, carry on.